So you really have to be hearing what young people are saying, because I believe that they have the invaluable information that we need to strike a balance. And the more places to go like this, we stand a chance. The more time you have to spend with them, and even then, limited time, because it's all about a world moving at 24/7. Welcome,
sorry.
join us, no problem. Everyone makes the effort. But what I want to say to you is this: language, culture, behaviours equal performance, impact, and everything that you want to be. Where do you want to be a few years from now? Where do you want to be? Yeah.
I think just achieve everything I want in life, to be very honest with you. Help people achieve what they want in life.
I want organisation to be nationwide, if not global, impacting people from here, but also replicating that in areas that don't get the opportunity.
That works. No, I was going to pick up. So I'll come back to you. I'm looking at young hearts and minds at the moment, because those of us who've gone past, anyone who's gone past 50, I'm in my 65th year next February, and I've realised I've got far less time on earth going forward than I've already had in my past life. Yeah, man, I've got you.
Yeah, well, achieve our goals and set up goals and achieve them.
What's one of those goals?
Martial arts, obviously I'm training and doing martial arts and sharpening up my skills and...
We'll do a session at some stage in the future. Welcome. Name, project, passion, that's where we're at. No, that's where you introduce yourself.
Oh, sorry.
I'll give you a chance to do so. No, I pointed at you first.
You're right, my name's Reese.
Good to meet you, Reese.
My project has just been involved with, the good Wolverhampton Wrestling Club, just being involved in that as much as I can, helping with that. And my passion is just helping the community's helped me be a better person, so I want to help back. Do you know what I mean?
Just give it back.
Yeah, give back. Yeah.
That's cool.
Hi, I'm Cora. I'm a personal trainer, and I'm just supporting the whole movement as well in the community.
I like that. I'm just supporting the whole movement. We're gonna go into one of the scenarios, because believe it or not, everything you do has got to be in real time. I'm one of those sad individuals that has a mobile phone 24/7, because I work across 5 continents, and we get requests every single day. One thing I equally want to say to you, are people across the 5 continents who are doing more with less every single day. And the power of this collaboration already, I know, can achieve the great things that become the global movement. Because believe it or not, the diversity of your life experiences is what makes you unique. Nothing more, nothing less. I've downloaded a very good feel of what I'm working with. So the action learning scenarios are where I believe you're going to get the all-important traction of your purpose and the collective efforts and experience that you all bring. Because that takes us to where we need to be. I'd like any questions that you have on what I've downloaded that's been not too intense, relatively intense. Goal.
Okay. Actually, now it's not being so focused on the goal and just experiencing the present.
I like that.
Because that's been my focus has always been, what do I need to achieve in the future? And in that, I feel like the present is lost.
Past, present, future. I'm just embarking on an experience that will, on the basis that you do need to know where you've come from, so you become rooted in your heritage, your identity, because that's important, in your ancestry. Because my father came here before Windrush, so, but from Barbados, that wasn't his heritage, but it might well come from somewhere in Ghana and a particular tribe of the Ashanti. Now that excites me. My mother, who was the head case, comes from Guyana, South America, a village where slaves fought their emancipation in Golden Grove and the Backwoods. And by the way, she's the one who used to buy fights at school. She was genuinely off her rocker. But I got a balance. My father was a peacemaker, he fought the war, And I think you've seen enough lives lost and taken enough lives to see that that balance. Opposites attract, by the way. Anyone be stopped and searched? Tell us about it.
My case was a while ago, to be honest. I think I think at the time I was running somewhere and maybe the police already had something ongoing. So they stopped me and said I matched a certain description that they got. I was like, no, I'm running for the bus because I need to get back. It was late, but I was literally running for the bus. And then it was like, no. According to the radios, and in the end they said, no, we've got to search you, completely search you. And yeah, they did. But yeah, it happened another time as well where they said my car was on the radar. They took me out of the car, stopped and searched me. And then, yeah.
It's not a nice experience, is
Not
it?
at all, no.
Your character was just about
Yeah, so walking back from the way you saw, because when I was going there, from during school, it only just started going there. Didn't have money for the bus at the time, so I had to walk from the way down to the street, you know where that is. So I was walking, police car pulls up, jump out, ask me what I'm doing. I've got my hood up, my tracksuit on, acting all swaggy and probably gave him a little bit of brief, was asking me questions, but jumped out of the car, said, something on you, and put me on my merry way. So even though it wasn't probably as intense as I think back then, it was still like, you know, it throws you off almost, you know, it's like almost like a violation in some sort of sense.
By the way, I've worked with every police force in this country. I've been on a national assessment centre that helps recruit and select chief constables. Stereotypes are for a reason, but you don't have to be the stereotype. Equally, there's nothing wrong with being what you want to be. In the 70s, I had a big afro. 76, one of the warmest summers on record. I had a polo neck, big afro comb and a black power fist, because that's what was shaping me, a product of our environment or of our world. But ultimately, you've got to find some middle ground. My second son went to University of the States in Hampton, Virginia, the South, ain't too friendly. And we were always worried because although we told him not to drive, you're never going to listen to your parents or hear your parents, he would drive, and in America where you drive, you're stopped, you're shot. That's the MO. We still have an incredibly tolerant country, but the one thing that has happened is communities have had things done to them. How many of you feel you're truly part of a community that's able to look after itself? And bearing in mind that lockdown brought a lot of negatives, but it actually saw community spirit rekindled and redefined and re-identified, because we all were moving at a pace in life. People were killing, young men were being killed in the States every single day. By the way, young men were being killed in this country. I can give you a list of names of young men who have been killed in police custody, but these are things that have to motivate us so we all look after each other. And that, again, as leaders of the future, as social coaches, that's what you have the ability to do. But I said I was going to open up to ask some questions that you might have, because the action learning scenario is what I think we're ready for, and I want you to get the quality of what you all bring to this experience. It's only a sense of what, if I make sense, fantastic. If I'm not, question anything that sees you needing to have a further insight as to why you're here, or why I'm here, and what we're trying to achieve, would be very much appreciated and welcome. Because I'm going to be moving at a very quick pace. Action learning scenarios, by the way, were inspired predominantly by the late President Mandela as part of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, when there was an impending race war, and we needed to get communities, tribes and cultures, primarily racially divided societies, working together. It was also used in the Rwandan post-genocide reconciliation process as well. It works if people wish it to work. Questions?
I just wanted to come back to something you said earlier. You said, does anybody think their community can, I think forget how you worded it.
Look after itself.
Look after itself, yeah. And just the thought that came to my mind, because it got me thinking. And I'm thinking about the community where I'm from, which is Park Village, Sheeptown. I grew up in Springfield. That community, but also where I've moved to recently, which would be more of a predominantly kind of white community. And my kind of observation, but I'd like to know what you feel, is that, because you spoke about poverty as well, because poverty, obviously, it causes the illusion of scarcity. Does that keep communities that are underrepresented divided? Whereby, to answer your question, the community I'm from now, I see such a togetherness there that I've never experienced in my whole life. Like, even to the point of the litter picking outside, everyone's doing it together, and I'm like, man, that's crazy. Like, it's a complete separation there. So it's more of a thought than anything, but I just want to know your thoughts around different communities and kind of what causes division and in those communities. Really.
Division is because of class. Haves and have-nots. Inner city, suburban and rural. By the way, for the majority of you here, you are no more, and I'm being generous, based upon the latest national census, I'd say 7 to 10% of the 9% majority of the population of this green and pleasant land that predominantly look like our minority here. What's it like to be a minority in a majority environment?
Right.
That's not meant to put you on the spot, just that that's how we live our lives every day. It's like what I do.
As in, be the only one of the only white people in the room.
By the way, in China, they call in Hong Kong, they call you Guai.
I tell you what.
There's always a name.
What really helped me was when I first came up to Wolverhampton Wrestling Club. This is like, I don't know, 2013, something like that. I found that really intimidating because I was like, God, I am like the only white person here, and I've never been in a environment or experienced anything like that. Where I live is very rural, very white. So I was, I felt really intimidated when I first came. But then, within the first, couple of minutes, stuff, I realised everybody was just really friendly, welcoming. There's absolutely no
Get
difference.
food.
Yeah.
Check it out.
So, ever since I had that experience, which for me, doing that, was quite a big thing to do. Definitely put myself out of comfort zone. Coming to a Sikh temple in Wolverhampton that I've probably never ever been before. I felt quite nervous about doing it, but like I said, within the first kind of half an hour, everyone was kind of welcoming, got to know quite a few different people, and and realised that they're just they're the way they interact, friends, family, all the rest of it, everyone's same.